Well, hello and how are you? Hey, friends, welcome to the Shin Show. I am your host, Shenandoah Briscoe, coming to you from right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Yes, this state was founded in 1769. And let's see, what is today? Today is Sunday, July 29th, 2018, making this vlog number 2347. Let's see, I got some late happy birthday shout outs from yesterday. Since I was so cold, I didn't even get out of my bedroom and into this room here at all. Sat in there with two heaters blasting on me so I could get my blood back to warm. I started at 95.2, I think, or 94. It was either 95 even or 94 something. Either way, I had to get my blood temperature up, and it was later on in the evening, like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I never even did get on the computer yesterday to do a blog. So I'm doing it today. So I got some happy birthday shout outs for yesterday. One would be Kim Bryan-Studer, and two would be Lynne-Dale Biondo, and then Diana Roach. Emas Siegel, Emas Siegel, and then today's birthday shout-outs would be Sandy Overbey, Gary Strauss, Beverly Jones, and Douglas Ferguson. And so, without further ado, here is a birthday song for you. Well, hey, I heard it's your birthday today, so happy birthday, I must say. I know Kim, Lynne-Dale, Diana, Emma, Sandy, Gary, Beverly, and Douglas. Hey, there's only one more year gone away. So, hey, I heard it's your birthday today, so happy birthday, I must say. Yeah, you know, there's one more year gone away, so happy birthday to you today, and many more. Yeah, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Sorry about that. Boy, trying to get all them names in there, just tough to do. Better not skip any vlogs, huh? Because, boy, if I do, I'll never get the list done. Alrighty. Let's see, founded in, I'm going to give you a little bit of history about the city of St. Charles. St. Charles history, that's right. The county of St. Charles, city of St. Charles. Founded in 1769 as La Petite Côte, the Little Hills, by a French-Canadian fur trader, Louis Blanchet. The Spanish government controlled the Mississippi Valley between 1762 and the 1800s. And for a dozen years, the Little Hills became San Carlos Borromeo. And in 1804, on the banks of the mighty Missouri River, Lewis and Clark met here to begin their westward expedition. Shortly thereafter, this city became known as St. Charles. Now, like I said, Lewis and Clark met here to begin their westward expedition. The core of discovery actually started out in St. Louis, but before it was the Lewis and Clark westward expedition, couldn't have been because Lewis wasn't there. He was on his way here overland, and so they met here and took off. Meanwhile, Daniel Boone and his family built a homestead in nearby Defiance, Missouri, and his Boone Slick Road later became the eastern starting point for the Santa Fe Trail and the Oregon Trail. Now, Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable, the black Frenchman who founded Chicago, lived the last 10 years of his life right here in Frenchtown and died in 1818. Also in 1818, St. Philip Duchesne established the first free girls' school west of the Mississippi. It's not surprising that the statesman decided that Missouri's first state capital should be here between 1821 and 1826. Now, Lindenwood College, a landmark private fine art school was founded in 1827. Now, throughout the 19th century, German settlers developed a wine region and brought their foods, fellowship, and commerce to the booming pioneer town. And during the 20th century, residents worked to preserve homes, stores, and streets from every period. Now, as destinations for almost 1 million visitors each year. St. Charles history comes alive to welcome you. So join us and experience the charm and beauty of a city that has been welcoming visitors since 1769. How's that about a little bit of background on St. Charles, Missouri? How about a little bit about St. Charles County, or St. Charles and the surrounding areas? Yeah, visitors to the St. Charles County will find that we have a remarkable variety in our offerings. From the historic main streets in St. Charles, with its nostalgic brick streets and one-of-a-kind shops to picturesque surroundings of Missouri wine country. The St. Charles County has something for everyone. There is so much to see and do in St. Charles area that we invite you to take time and explore the endless possibilities. If you want to play, we are an active community with options for every sport lover. Choose to be a spectator at the family arena, or the River City Rascals out in O'Fallon, Missouri, or at the Chesterfield Field, or participate with a bike ride on the Katy Trail, or visit one of our many parks and recreation areas as Augusta A. Bush Memorial Conservation Area or the Confluence Point State Park. If museums are more your style, visit the St. Charles County Heritage Museum at Heritage Park, or the Frenchtown Heritage Museum and Research Center, or the O'Fallon Historic Society Log Cabin Museum. And after spending the day at the museum in the area, satisfy your palate with anything from cheeseburgers to sushi. Enjoy a patio setting, historic ambiance, local pubs, or take out for a picnic on the riverfront. Please don't hesitate to request a copy of our visitor's guide to help you plan your trip to St. Charles or St. Charles County. How about that? How about the Main Street walking tours? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the St. Charles, which happens to be Main Street walking tours. Welcomes you to the St. Charles, which happens to be one of the most historic main streets in all of America. It all started in 1769 when Louis Blanchet, a French-Canadian fur trader, founded St. Charles and named it La Petite Côte, meaning the Little Hills. Ugh, sorry, my chair is a little uncomfortable right now. Trying to fix it just a little bit so that I feel more comfortable and can read better for you. There. How's it? La Petite Côte, the Little Hills. Today, old inns and buildings still stand as if time has stood still. Bye. Somebody better fix my eyes. They keep jumping lines. That's what the problem is. I'm reading a line. Then I go right back up to the middle of it, and, well, it gets kind of confusing. Some structures date back as early as the 1800s, when the rock was chiseled by hand and delivered by mule. The St. Charles is also famous for being a starting point for Lewis and Clark's great expedition. The fact is that was the starting place for thousands of Americans on their journey westward. This tour will give you an overview of life as it was in the early days of St. Charles, when the Boone family, Lewis and Clark, and hundreds of pioneers walked the same streets as you will be walking. Now, we'll uncover some of the St. Charles colorful past and visit long, loving restored buildings along the 18 stops of the tour. This is a walking tour, and at the end of each presentation, you will be prompted with directions to your next location. You can follow it as preceded or create your own tour route in any order. This program will give you the flexibility to do as much or as little as your time permits. Simply use the menu to select each of the stops on the tour, and if you need to rest, there are public benches for you to use. Click on the map below to begin your tour on one of the largest national registered historical districts in the Midwest. Oh, well, see, there you go. That would be the guided tour if you were getting ready to check into the tour to the Visitors Bureau here in St. Charles. They give you a little iPod type thing, and it tells you, and I'm sure you can do it by cell phone nowadays. I'm sure they've got a chip that you can, or not a chip, but an app for that. So all you got to do is click on their app and do it that way. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? We talked about St. Charles County. We talked about St. Charles City. How about the new streets of St. Charles? That's the new streets of St. Charles is a new establishment that has just been built not too long ago. Uh, it's pretty nifty. It's got the streets of St. Charles is the city's newest multi-use development, offering dining, shopping, nightfall, and entertainment for everyone. Looking for a bite to eat? They have you covered. Want to catch the latest movies? Well, they have some of the most comfortable seats in town. How about boutique shopping or a haircut? You can get it all at the streets of St. Charles. Getting to the streets of St. Charles is a breeze, as they have plenty of free convenient parking just off of the Interstate 70 at South 5th Street in St. Charles. You'll be greeted with a grateful place full of energy and plenty of possibilities. And if it's the food, the drink, the movies, and the nightfall aren't enough, the streets of St. Charles hosts a full series of events from March through September, from 5K runs and bike rides to outdoor concerts featuring a variety of music and great local bands in the Streets Festival environment. So there you have that. Do dee doo dee 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 dum dum dum. Do do do. Da da ba dum ba da ba dum. Do 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 do. Ba da ba dum. Things to do. Main Street. Main Street. Down on Main Street. Early explorers and pioneers made the St. Charles their place of choice for shopping in the 19th century. Today, you can walk those same brick-lined streets along the nationally registered historic districts and shop in those same buildings, and you will find unique specialty items, homes, accessory jewelries, and many other one-of-a-kind gifts rather than pelts and barrels. Also, pelts and barrels of nails, which is what they used to sell, and you can still find those down on Main Street too, if you're looking hard enough, but they're not for sale anymore. They just have those on display for uh, uh, not recreational purposes, historic purposes. Yeah, that's it. Alrighty then, where was I at? I was just about to say, um, Whether you're looking for the specific gift or just want to treat yourself to something special, there's something on Main Street. There's always something on Main Street to suit every taste. See our detailed maps to help you explore. For well over 200 years, visitors to St. Charles have been settling into comfortable accommodations along Main Street. Some of St. Charles' overnight guests have included explorers, pioneers, statesmen, and steamboat captains. While visiting St. Charles, they would have eaten at local establishments like Eckert's Tavern, Farmhouse, the Farmer's Home Tavern, or the Western House. All of these are still available to eat at. When you're hungry today, visitors have over 25 restaurants from which to choose. Satisfy your palate with anything from barbecue to tapas, and choose your atmosphere. Enjoy an patio setting or historic ambiance, local pubs, coffee houses, or takeout for a picnic on the Frontier Park. As evening descends on Missouri's river village, take a stroll under the glow of the gaslights. Relax while the essence of history and life is in a simpler time envelops you. Come and be our guests and make yourself comfortable in St. Charles, Missouri, and make you bring back your own memories of the streets of St. Charles, of the city streets of St. Charles. All right, let's see. Do I got time for a song? I do have a song. Time for a song. I've been doing this song all day in my head. It's not like I didn't do it just a day ago or so. That's the problem. I get repetitive in my songs because just done this one a day or so ago, but I'm stuck with it, and so should you be, I guess. Song lyrics, darling, you send me. Yeah, see, it's Sam Cooke again. Can't help it, my friends. I just can't help it. I've just been stuck with it all day in my head. Here we go. Darling, you said me. I said, darling, you said me. I know that you said me. Honest you do, honest you do, honest you do. Whoa, 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 whoa. You thrill me. Oh, I know that you thrill me. Honest you do. Honest you do. Honest you do, darling, darling, you do. At first I thought it was infatuation. Oh, 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 but it lasted so long. And now I find myself wanting to marry you and bring you home. Wow, wow, you send me. I know that you send me. Oh, baby, you send me. Honest you do. Honest you do. Honest you do. Oh, whenever I'm with you, I'm near you. Honest you do, honest you do, honest you do, honest you do. You know, you said me. Honest you do, honest you do, honest you do. At first I thought it was infatuation. And then, wow, oh, it lasted so long. And then I found myself wanting to marry you and take you home. Oh, darling, you send me. Oh, darling, you send me. Yes, darling, you said me. Honest you do, honest you do, honest you do. I heard a lot of popping under the table. I hope it was not my toe snapping off in my sandal and falling off on the floor. Wow, 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 that would hurt, honestly. It would hurt pretty bad, I would see. Honest it would, honest it would, honest it would. I don't see no blood squirting out of me. I don't see no puddle on the floor. So I guess I'll be better for tomorrow as I scoot out the door. Wow, 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 you said me. All right, my friends, looks like it's about that time for our portion of the program called Our Daily Bread. Yeah, our daily bread is hope in grief, is today's devotion. And well, I'm sorry, I heard all that noise, popping and a cracking and a moaning and a groaning in my toes. And well, I didn't know whether it was my feet hitting it or just noise. And I looked. Anyway, today I'm going to be reading Luke 24:13 through 32. And if you're keeping up with your Bible in a year, which I really hope you are, you'll be reading Psalms 49 through 50 and Romans 1. Now, you know what I recommend? I recommend that you go to the odb.org, our daily bread organization, each and every day, and look this stuff up and read it for yourself because, well, it's a beautiful, beautiful, and easy way to keep in touch with God each and every day of the week. And especially if I'm not here to read it for you, like yesterday. You just go on in there, sign up, give them a little support so that they can spread the gospel all around the world. Oh, well, let's see. This one's about some kid that when he was quite young, a friend of his was killed in a car accident. In the following weeks and months, he walked in each day in a tunnel of grief and pain. The pain that he felt wasn't really for himself. Well, it was more like for himself, not for the person who was gone, because why, the person who was gone is up in heaven. You know, he just felt abandoned. He felt like he should have been, taken instead or something of that nature. Too many kids these days are dying because they just don't know the Lord. If you get a chance to turn your kids on to God, well, by golly, you do it. And you sit down with them each and every day and you read the daily bread right there on your cell phone or your computer or whatever you happen to have. Or if you go to a good Christian church, you should be able to pick one up from right up there at the front there, front entrance or the rear entrance on your way in or out of church. And if you can't, talk to your pastor or your preacher and ask them if they would get the daily bread for you. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to sign up for it. Doesn't cost a lot. It's minimal price to it. And besides, they use that money that the church is giving to them to spread the gospel all the way around the world so that there will be Christians throughout the world, each and every one of them. All right, anyway, here we go. I'm about to fixing to read Luke 24:13 through 32. On the road to Emas. Now, that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them, but they were kept from recognizing him. He asked them what they were discussing together what are you discussing together as you walk along? And they stood still, their faces downcast. One of them, named Cleopas, asked him, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem who does not know the things that have been happening these days?" these past few days?" "What things?" he asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. And what is more, it is the third day since all this took place. In addition, some of our women amazed us, and they went to the tomb early this morning, but did not find his body. And they came and they told us that they had seen a vision of angels, who said he was alive. And then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see Jesus. He said unto them, How foolish you are, and how slow to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Did not the Messiah have to suffer these things and then enter his glory? And being with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. As they approached the village to which they were going, Jesus continued on as if he were going further, but they urged him strongly to stay with us, for it is nearly evening, and the day is almost over. So he went in to stay with them. And when he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give to them. When their eyes were opened and they recognized him, he disappeared from their sight. And they asked of each other, Were not our hearts burning with us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us? And there you have it. That is Luke 24:13 through 32. So if you want to read on further, you always can. Just flip open your Bible to Luke 24 and carry right on. Alrighty, that looks like it's it for me today, folks. I probably ran over a little bit, which is okay because there wasn't one yesterday. So, that being the case, I'm going to have to let y'all go, so I'll just put it to you this way. Well, goodbye, my friends. It's a time to go. I said goodbye, my friends. It's a time to go home. I hate to leave you, but I really must go. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. This here's been Shenandoah Briscoe saying hello and how are you? And thanks for tuning in to the Shen Show. And as always, come back tomorrow because, well, I'll be here and I hope you are too. Maybe I'll be here, like I just explained. Alrighty, y'all be good and goodbye.